They're back my avocado tree that I started from seed way back in 2015. As you can see, it's quite tall and skinny. I can't actually get it all in frame at once. In the last video I nearly killed it. I pushed it too far during the repot and the main trunk died away back, but as you can see, 2 new shoots grew out from the base. Today I'm just going to remove that really tall branch. I didn't repot it last year, so it's had coming up to 2 years to recover. A few weeks later in April I decided I should finally remove what was the old main trunk. You can see here there is a little bud forming. This happens a lot and they often die back. The stronger tops usually take all the energy. So it was a bit tricky getting to this branch. I had to take a few chops at it. It's easier just to nibble away at it sometimes. Once I got enough removed, I bit into the live wood, basically making a little concave wound. When I tip it up in a minute, you should see it a bit better. Basically the tree should heal into that and it'll look like there was never a trunk there in the first place. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with this tree. Maybe I'll keep it 2 trunks, maybe I'll just keep it to 1. For now I'm just wanting to be healthy. I think it already looks better having that dead trunk removed. A few days later I then repotted the tree. It's been 2 years since last repot, so it's going to be quite packed in here. They seem to grow a lot of deep roots. It will also do it some good to get some fresh soil. So after a little bit of persuasion, I finally got it out. It's got a very healthy root mass. I struggled after the last repot, but it's looking good now. This tree will never be a bonsai. It's at best going to be a small house tree, which I'm totally fine with. Avocados are a cool tree to grow, but they can be fussy. It also has thick growth and really large leaves, so it's really not ideal. But I'd still tell you to grow one, just don't expect much from it. But after getting all the soil off, this is what we're left with. Lots of long roots. So I didn't go too crazy, I just kind of trimmed everything back. There really isn't a lot going on. They're not terrible roots, but they're not amazing either. So I'm going to plant it in the same pot. I might just keep it in a flower pot all its life. I'm not sure if it'll ever get into a shallow pot. Although at the time of this video, it was under my pink grow light. And this tree is like 3 or 4 times taller than the other ones, so I could have definitely done with it being in a shallower pot just to bring its height down. Once I get my own place, I'll just leave it near a window so it can just get as tall as it really wants. So I just filled the pot with soil and checked the height of the tree in the pot. You can see I didn't really remove any roots, just trimmed them back. Like I said, they're not bad. There's no weird roots going in like crazy directions or anything. But there isn't just a beautiful flowing root flare. Maybe it will develop over the years, who knows. I just backfilled the pot and apparently I can't tell where the centre is. Watching this back, it looks like the roots fit it nicely all the way around the pot. It looks like one side had slightly longer roots than the other. Maybe I noticed that at the time and was happy enough of it. Maybe I didn't, who knows. All we know is it's off centre, which we're just going to have to deal with. Then once it was all filled in, I just used a little stick to settle the soil and watered it in. A very mild repot by my standards. Hopefully this time it won't go into shock and die back. Having the grow light should help with that. The extra light will keep it happy. So here it is in May. It looks very spindly and skinny and sparse, but it's doing okay. Just remember this image because you're going to see some change by the end of the video. In June, I apparently cut it back but didn't film it. I just removed most of the leaves. I kind of had to. They were very close to the grow light. They were pretty much blocking one corner of the light. So for the greater good of the other trees, it had to lose some leaves. But you can see there's little buds, so maybe now they can get some more light. In July, those little buds are growing. But there's a bit of a scale insect scare, so I had to spray everything down with a special potion. And well, you'll see now, the stuff I used shredded the leaves. But that will sort of totally be because the leaves were so close to the light while covered in the potion. And it's obviously just burnt it. It was at this time Mars Hydro reached out to me about trying their grow light. This tree being too close to my current grow light was what sealed it for me. I had to have that new light. Being able to move it and give it some more space to expand upwards and outwards was amazing. It also helped free up some space in my current grow area, so every tree was a winner. You can see after only a few weeks it looks so much healthier, so much greener, and it's actually starting to fill in now. Just look at how strong the growth is. In September, you won't even realise it's the same tree, it's so dense now. My first grow light is really good, but my setup is not designed for a tree this size. The space in the new grow light is exactly what this tree needed, and it's really showing. Here I'm just thinning it out, it's growing so crazy. So even after thinning it out, it still looks so much more densely foliated than it did at the start of the summer. Normally this tree would start shutting down for the winter about now, but as I've made the new grow area a more tropical area, it's still getting a lot of light and it's still going to keep growing all winter. So I can start trimming it now with no problems, whereas before I wasn't able to do it so late in the year. In October, the light is terrible thanks to the low sun, so you can't really see what's happening. But here we are in November. It looks so full, it actually looks like an avocado tree. Compared to that little skinny mess we started with in this video, this tree has done some incredible growing. When it gets new leaves, they start out red, so you can see this is covered in new growth. So my plan here is just to thin it out again and cut it back a little. I know I can't keep it super small, but I can't just let it go too crazy. I just started by removing any older, bigger leaves. That just thins it out enough to see the structure and see what's happening in there. I also need to work out what to do with this skinny trunk. It's so straight and thin, I just need it out of the way for now. Look at this leaf, it's massive. It's pretty much the same size as my hand. Just shows you how big these leaves can get. I've assessed it and that skinny one has to go. Not all the way, maybe if I just leave a little bit, it will grow from there and give me some options. If it dies back, well, that's fine. This branch here is also getting crazy thick, it needs pushing back. And then obviously the top is growing like mad, so it can also go down a bit. It just took me a second to decide how far back I should go. So a few more big leaves can go, and then we're done. There is actually a lot of inner buds in here, so it'll be interesting to see what happens. And of course, I kind of forgot to show you that, but luckily I came back a few days later to show you. So here's all the buds, and you can also see I left a few stubs, just to make sure I didn't get too close to the buds and damage them. And in December it had gone mad. I think every bud had grown. When I'd been growing these in the sunlight, it would get loads of buds, and then just one would take off. Under the grow light, they all seemed to have grown. Even the ones on a little skinny stump are growing. It's just incredible. So I'll have to cut it back again soon. I'm tempted to cut the thicker trunk off and just have the little skinny one, but we'll see what happens. Either way, this tree is doing incredibly well, and I'm so happy I've kept it for so long and finally found a place it's happy to grow in. Thanks for watching, see you next time.